You like my beard mask?
It's like a beard underwear.
Yeah. I'm starting a new trend.
It makes you have like a really tiny chin.
Yeah.
What are you gonna name it? Like...
You want me to name my beard underwear? You name your underwear?
No, like underwear's underwear. You got like thongs and bikini and... What would you call that?
A mask.
A chin mask? Chin strap? Like a jock strap?
Hello, I'm Jacqueline, and this is Nick. We invite you to join us and our dog Trixie on our unique journey as we pack everything up, move into our camper, travel to our favorite destinations, and begin living in the now.
Cause I've got no more expectations, gonna take my ass across the nation. Been doing this far too long. All the time I spend is now too far gone. Time to change the pace and lose the face that I put on for everyone else. Embrace the change and play the game and do everything for myself.
Lovers Point in Monterey is a truly unique spot. Because of its east-facing location, it is one of the only spots on the west coast where you can watch the sun rise over the water.
You made a new friend.
Don't feed the squirrels.
I don't have any food. I'm holding hands with a squirrel at Lover's Point. Oh.
So 2 years ago, we were back in this area, and I was wearing flip-flops and holding a cup of coffee and rock hopping to jump over and see the sunrise. I slipped and fell, and I put my arm out to try to catch myself, and I twisted my arm back, and I either dislocated my shoulder or tore something. Not really sure quite what happened, but my shoulder's never been the same since.
And we ended up at the emergency room.
Yeah, good boondocking spot, hospitals. Who knew?
But what happened down here 5 years ago?
I asked you to marry me.
Yeah, at the aquarium.
Best decision I ever made.
He said, smiling well on camera. Oh, it's mama babies. 3 does and 5 fawns.
Oh, that was pretty cool. I've never seen so many deer in a city.
That's true.
Like this is a very busy city, and I'm surprised to see all these deer down here.
Probably because there's less people. Their tourism's really low right now.
Maybe that's what it is.
So we're in Monterey, and unfortunately the Monterey Bay Aquarium is closed due to COVID. It's extremely empty here.
From the 1930s to the 1950s, Monterey was the sardine capital of the world. They processed 200,000 tons of fish a year. The canneries lined the streets until the sardine populations were depleted.
So in Monterey, there's signs everywhere that say you have to wear a mask. If you walk around the streets of Monterey without wearing a mask, you get a $100 fine. Unless, of course, you're drinking a beer.
Which you're not allowed to drink at the restaurant or the bar.
Right.
So they're all to go.
So if I'm drinking a beer on the street, I can't get fined for wearing a mask. Totally makes sense.
Is it only because it's a Corona?
Oh, yeah, by the way, only Coronas, not really. The most rewarding part of this journey has been the opportunity that we've had to work on ourselves. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've seen a lot of cool stuff, but hands down, the most rewarding part of this journey has been the time that we've had to become better versions of ourselves. This was about finding ourselves and getting back to a place where we're happy with our existence. because Jacqueline and I, we've been through some shit lately, you know. We dealt with the death of my mother and the death of my grandfather. Jacqueline was working at a job that she really wasn't happy with. Then I ended up working at a job that I wasn't really happy with. Just kind of got lost there for a solid 5 years, and it's hard to come back from that. If you're watching this and you've experienced some of that in your life, I just want to encourage you to give it everything you've got and know that you can come out of this too. It doesn't matter what you go through in life, with enough willpower, trust in God, you can achieve anything. It's really important that you believe in yourself. From what I've found, the most important things to have a successful life and a happy life are to carry with you at all times love and gratitude, and to always try to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday.
Monterey Bay is the nation's largest marine sanctuary. It's over 5,300 square miles of coastal waters and is protected from harmful activities such as oil drilling. In the sanctuary, you're allowed to hook, line, fish, scuba dive, kayak, and enjoy the amazing view. NOAA manages the sanctuary, working with the local community to balance wildlife protection and human activities, all while promoting scientific research and education. If you have ever had the opportunity to be in these waters, you will find them full of life with an abundance of different species. I had the pleasure of scuba diving this area back in 2008, and let me tell you, swimming below a kelp forest is like nothing else you will ever experience in your life. Looking 100 feet up at the surface and seeing the kelp towering above you, teeming with wildlife, as it slowly closes out the sunlight, darker and darker the further you swim in, you'll find yourself terrified of the enclosing darkness, but more alive than ever, curious to keep exploring this majestic underwater world. It leaves you simply speechless.
What happened last night?
We had a rude awakening. A rude one.
She ain't lying.
So we paid to stay in a parking lot last night that is privately owned, and we were warned that it's illegal in Monterey County, well, most of California, to sleep in your car or vehicle from 2 to 6, I think, in this county, or 4 to 6 a.m. you're not allowed to sleep in your vehicle. And so we were warned that we may get a knock on the door, and we actually had a very rude awakening from a police officer who was banging very loudly on our door, screaming and yelling. He even got up on our bumper and started shaking our camper, trying to see if we were inside sleeping. Of course, it woke Trixie up, and she's barking her head off, and we just laid quietly in bed. If he doesn't know we're in here, he can't prove we're sleeping. He was very persistent. He shined lights in our windows. He sat with his vehicle directly pointed into one of our windows with his lights on. This was, what, 4:30 in the morning? And he stayed for roughly an hour trying to wait us out. We just stayed in bed. Trixie just barked. And eventually he left. 6 o'clock rolled around, like 15 minutes after he left, and we were good to wake up.
This is kind of one of those unspoken things about boondocking. As long as you're in a legal spot to be parked overnight, even if the city ordinances say you can't sleep in a vehicle or in your RV or however they want to put it, they can't prove that you're in there unless they get you out of it. What we found is the best thing to do is when we encounter that kind of situation is to just hunker down and pretend we're not here. For all they know, we're staying in the hotel right over there, and we left our dog in here because they don't allow dogs in the hotel, and that's perfectly legal to do. But this particular officer must have been having a bad night because he had some bad energy. Like he was pissed, and we have blackout blinds on all of our windows, and we always shut them. When he was shining his flashlight in the windows, there was nothing to see. I think he was pretty convinced that we were in here, but he can't prove it, so he can't do anything about it. As far as they know, we're not breaking any laws.
Unfortunately for our neighbors, he shined a light in their window and saw one of their feet in their bed, and they were forced to leave for the next 30 minutes until 6 a.m. And then they came back.
So it's very important to have blackout blinds.
Ours
Put these down.
pretty-
Nobody knows. All right. Anything else to add?
No.
No.
Well, sometimes it's no overnight camping, no overnight
We're not
parking.
camping. If we keep the slide in and we keep
But
the legs up.
here in this county, it was no sleeping, is what we were told.
Yeah.
So it does vary from county to county.
It does. And it's a risk. And, you know, occasionally you might get a ticket or something, but I mean, it's still cheaper than getting a campsite for $100 a night.
And with COVID, they aren't accepting new reservations.
Yeah, like, what are we gonna do? Whatever, we went back to bed. We're a little bit sleepy today, but no big deal. Just part of the game. How many nose? Oh, gross.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell so you'll never miss another adventure. And join us next Tuesday as we travel to Santa Cruz to witness the world's longest migration ever recorded.
You want my beard mask?
What are you gonna name it? Like,
You want me to name my beard underwear? You name your underwear?